As one of the 13 original colonies, the Nutmeg State is dense in American culture. With its picturesque small towns and alluring coastal landscapes, it's no wonder visitors from around the globe have made this their vacation destination. But hiding behind the quaint exterior are stories that lure some to discover the mysteries from its past. These are 5 haunted places in Connecticut.
Newgate Prison, East Granbury. Old Newgate was the first state prison in the country, but originally began as a copper mine in the 1700s. This site has certainly seen its fair share of deaths. When it was opened as a mine, many workers died because of poor safety conditions. It was not uncommon to lose many of the men to falls, and even collapsing tunnels, crushing the miners within them. When the mine was converted to a prison in 1773, it housed everyone from petty burglars to murderers, and even held British soldiers from the Revolutionary War. The death toll rose to new heights in the following years. Inmates killed each other and guards killed inmates in failed attempts to control the violence of the prisoners, causing the general population to lash back at the guards, killing them as well. The history of death and tragedy within the walls seem to have imprinted themselves on the decaying structure. Witnesses have reported screams coming from empty areas of the mine, a ghostly face is seen within one of the rooms, and an apparition of a man who sometimes appears to be climbing a rope to escape to freedom. Other stories include unexplainable cold spots, being touched when no one is there, and the feeling of being watched when in empty areas. One visitor to the site reportedly had a very detailed tour of the mine by a tour guide dressed in an authentic prison uniform. When he complimented the owners of the tour, it was then that he was informed that there was no one giving tours of the mine at that time. Whether through pardon or death, it would seem that the prisoners will never be free from its cold walls.
Remington Arms Factory, Bridgeport. This site that now resembles a post-apocalyptic war zone was once home to one of the most massive ammunition manufacturers in the world. Remington Arms Factory spanned over 73 acres with 38 buildings and over 17,000 employees. But with its enormous size, the opportunity for disaster was present everywhere. In 1942, an explosion rocked the factory, sending flames and searing hot metal in all directions. 7 people lost their lives during the chaos, and 80 others were injured. The surrounding houses felt the effects as well, as thousands of rounds of bullets rang through walls, windows, and doors in the nearby neighborhoods. Other tragedies that took place included workers being electrocuted, employees being crushed by machinery, and other countless accidents. Perhaps the worst of all reportedly happened to 2 workers in the shot tower who were liquefied after having mysteriously fallen into the molten metal vat. The factory closed down in 1988 after moving most of their business to another location, but despite the facility being abandoned, the voices of those who perished seem to be forever calling out. Bridgeport police have reported seeing shadowy figures moving throughout the buildings, and many have witnessed ghostly screams and voices throughout the property. Even the machinery has been heard grinding away into the night, thought to be operated by the many workers whose lives were cut short by the tragic irony of earning their living.
Dudleytown, Cornwall. Dudleytown, also known as the Village of the Damned, has been allegedly cursed since its co-founder, Edmund Dudley, was beheaded in 1510 for conspiring to overthrow King Henry VIII. His family was cursed with death and misfortune for his treachery, and this followed them when they settled in Cornwall, Connecticut. Dudleytown saw an unusually high amount of inexplicable occurrences, including disappearances, multiple cases of townsfolk losing their sanity, and many strange deaths. And it would seem that the curse was not exclusive to the Dudley family. In the mid-1700s, a mysterious plague settled over Dudleytown and claimed the lives of many of its townspeople. In 1804, a woman named Sarah Fay was struck by lightning and died on her front porch. Her husband, who had served under George Washington in the Revolutionary War, went insane and died a short time after. One of the last residents was John Patrick Brophy, who just after his wife's funeral lost both of his children to the supposed curse when they vanished in the woods. Brophy was thought to have fallen victim to insanity, burning his house to the ground and disappearing into the woods himself. He and his children were never found. The town was completely deserted by the 1900s and is currently private property. Trespassing is strictly forbidden. But for those few who have gained entry, some have reported strange mists and shadowy figures lurking behind the trees. Others have witnessed the sound of otherworldly cries and the ghostly laughter of children thought to be the unfortunate victims of the Dudley Town curse.
New London Ledge Lighthouse, Middlebury. At the mouth of the New London Harbor on the Thames River stands the 58-foot-high New London Ledge Lighthouse. It dates back to 1909 and is still in use today, although many say one of the original keepers never left his post. The ghost that haunts this lighthouse is nicknamed Ernie, believed to be an early keeper of the place. The spirit is thought to be that of a man whose wife had left him due to the long hours and lonely existence that the position demanded. Distraught over his wife's leaving, he ultimately ended his life from the top of the lighthouse tower to the water below. Coast Guard crewmen and women at the building have reported unexplained knocking that would take place at night all over the structure, doors that open and close on their own, televisions that turn on and off by themselves, and sheets being removed from beds without any explanation. Even the foghorn has been known to go off by itself despite no one being in the lighthouse. It would seem Ernie's lonely spirit will linger long after the light has extinguished for good.
Union Cemetery, Easton. This graveyard, dating back to the 1700s, has been dubbed by many as the most haunted cemetery in the United States. The most famous of the ghosts reported here is that of a woman nicknamed the White Lady who began appearing in the 1940s. No one knows for sure the identity of her spirit, but several people have encountered her ghost wandering the side of the road just outside the entrance to the cemetery. Some have even claimed to have struck her accidentally, but when getting out of their vehicle to check, there's no one there. Others state that they have spotted her sitting in the back seat with a haunting stare, only to have her disappear before their eyes. She has been videotaped and photographed by a number of people over the years, turning her into somewhat of a celebrity. The cemetery grounds are also host to a multitude of strange activity, and it has been reported that those who take photos at the Union Cemetery have later found orbs, light rods, mists, and full-body apparitions. In 1992, Ed and Lorraine Warren published a book called Graveyard, True Hauntings from an Old New England Cemetery, with many of the chapters focused on this location. With all of the activity present among the ancient stones, this place promises to be a paranormal hotspot. Just don't forget to bring your camera.
Whether it be a casual stroll through the woods or a leisurely drive up the coast, Connecticut sights and sounds can be found everywhere, and when the sun goes down under the cover of darkness, some of them may even find you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.
And don't forget to check the notification bell to be updated whenever we post a new video.